Hey everyone, John Arnold here, and welcome to second video in my three-part video series that I've decided to call Address the Mess. Okay, you've probably heard of the show Say Yes to the Dress. Well, this is Address the Mess, and what I'm talking about is when our lives get messy. Now, if you did not watch the first video, I would encourage you to go back and watch that. And let me interject real quick. Big shout out to everyone who has commented or sent me messages about that video. I appreciate your feedback. I really appreciate the fact that it connected with how you feel about the mess in your life. So if you've not watched it yet, you can see that in my private Facebook group. Go check it out there, which is Christ Yoga and You on Facebook. So today in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to move past what we did in the first video, which was introduce the idea of a yoga principle called Saucha. And for those of you who don't know, if you didn't watch that video, Saucha is a yogic principle that means, it can be translated purity or cleanliness or clarity, words like that. The idea of Saucha is that we have kind of an ethical obligation to take care of, to keep clean, to keep pure our bodies, our minds, our physical environment around us. And if we don't do that, we pay for it, right? Because if we neglect the physical care of our bodies in terms of like cleanliness, we can get sick. Or when we're clean, we feel so much better. Eating, if we're taking in lots of highly processed food or toxins, heavy foods that are hard on our system, they drag us down, wear us down, the quality of our life dips, and that's no fun for anybody. If our finances become a mess, it can be incredibly stressful. In fact, finances is one of the #1 causes of divorce in our country. Imagine how different the quality of life would be for people if everybody could clean their finances up. Woo, wouldn't that be awesome, you know? So in mindset, like, you know what it's like to get online? You ever get in Facebook or social media or turn on the news and afterwards it's drug your whole day down because it's just put you in this foul, terrible mindset? Well, you need some Saucha of the mind. You know, you need to cleanse the mind and protect it from those kind of things. So I introduced that in the first video. And today I want to talk about how messes occur in our life. 3 of the most common ways that I've seen this happen in my life. And for those of you who don't know, I do some time management training with people, so I see this a lot in other people's lives. I'm going to look at the 3 most common things that I've experienced or see with other people. And here's the good news. I'm not going to just leave you hanging with these 3 really problematic areas. I also want to offer some very quick, simple first steps you can take as kind of preventative maintenance around those things becoming messes. So, all right, here we go. #1, and that is many messes happen because they pile up, literally. Like I had clutter in my first video. I showed a huge stack of unprocessed mail and bills. And that kind of clutter happens because of delayed decision or action, right? Delayed decision or action. We procrastinate on something, and what happens is it creates a backlog in our life. We procrastinate what we want to do with our day, and things start piling on, and we suddenly feel this sense of clutter of demand on us. We delay action on chores that need to be done in our life, and suddenly we look around and our house is filthy, or there's clutter sitting around, or there's a pile of laundry on the table that's been sitting there for 3 days, you've wanted to fold, or maybe it's not even on the table yet, it's still in dirty clothes, and you're saying, what am I going to do for underwear and socks, right? Because you're like, you know, you have neglected, you've delayed decision, excuse me, or you have delayed action on moving forward with that. And that creates a mess in our life. I want to share with you one really simple thing I have started doing that has had a profoundly big impact on getting me out of kind of a delay mode. Because I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm really creative. So I'm always thinking, well, yeah, but what if I do this or what if I do that? And I get like, anybody get an analysis paralysis, right? And stuff just backlogs on you. Okay, a friend of mine, Dana, and I hope Dana's watching this, her sister has a phrase, and Dana shared it with me, that she uses when she finds herself delaying action on the little things. For example, the other night I got home, the trash can's down at the bottom of my drive, and I thought, hey, I should bring that up from the curb. Well, I can do that later when I go out for groceries. And then I go out for groceries, I come back, I start carrying things in. Guess what happens? I forget. Then I see it again. And these things start becoming irritants where you're like, I meant to do that. Oh, I should have done that, right? And then you've got to do it at some point when it's maybe not convenient. Well, Dana, when her sister bumps into one of these things where she's like, I'll take care of that later, she has a simple phrase that she interrupts with, and she says, she says, later is already taken. I love that. she literally like says that outside. Later is already taken, and this becomes what I call a pattern interrupt, right? You might have a habit of delaying decisions, and you've got to break that habit. You've got to interrupt your mindset of delaying decision or action. And she just has this simple, I'll call it a mantra, maybe it's not in the classic sense of the word, but later's already taken. And I have found just by adding that little phrase in my vocabulary, there are all these tiny unfinished tasks that I was tending to leave in order to pile up, and the pile's just not happening. I just get her done. And that's becoming my norm, and I'm becoming a whole lot better in immediate action, immediate decision, or at least a whole lot shorter cycle time on that. So I would suggest just try that out. But what are areas in your life where you see yourself delaying decision or action, and what can you do to take the simplest first step forward? Because that is the trick, my friend. We get caught up, we get overwhelmed, and sometimes we just got to break it down to the simplest action ever. But you got to catch yourself in that. And for me, I have to say that outside. Later's already taken, and that's kind of I have what I call it the grumpy uncle mentor. A grumpy uncle is the guy in your life who, like he gets in your face when you're screwing up, and he says what you don't want to hear, and he kind of annoys the heck out of you, but you love him so much anyways, and he's one you're going to go to if the chips are down. Sometimes you got to be your own grumpy uncle, and I got to look at myself. John, later's already taken. What are you thinking? Just do it, okay? So very simple action that can get rid of it can kind of prevent a backlog of tasks, clutter, numerous things like that. So you want to try to keep this moving. Next thing, and this was a game-changing mindset for me over the last couple months, and that is, I think it is really easy to get trapped in what I call a project mindset. Trapped in a project mindset. This is how I became awake to the reality that I was trapped in a project mindset. I was in the midst of all this Saucha work that I've been doing over the last couple of months. Every morning I do some journaling, and I go out and I look for a quote to start my journaling. And I found this quote, and it said this. It said, cleaning and organization is a process, not a project. Soak that in for just a moment. Cleaning and organization is a process, not a project. And I realized that I tended to manage life by being on a project hamster wheel. For example, we would, with our house, I would find myself, my wife's a lot better, she'd jump in and get things done, but I would find myself delaying decision or action, and I cleaned the house by project style, meaning what would happen is it would get to a point where I'd go like, oh my gosh, we've got to get the house clean. We're going to be hosting this. And then it became a project to get it done, right? You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying here? And same thing would happen like with my desk. Stuff would be piling up. I would be neglecting it to the point that one day it became this like project I had to get done of, I've got to clean this place, and I'd go crazy on it. And it wasn't just physical stuff. I think I had a project mindset about weight loss as well. See if this resonates for you. I had several times said, hey, I need to lose X amount of pounds. And it became a project to get those pounds off. And what would happen is, I'd get those pounds off, and then because I had reached my goal, there was now no longer any intention around that. Like the intention had been resolved. And so many times slot back into old behaviors. One other example, and I'll tell you what the alternative is. It's in the quote if you were listening, but this can be true of finances too. I can look back over my life and I've seen several windows where I accumulated debt. Something popped or snapped and I got into debt. And then it became, how can I pay off this? How can I pay off that? And and I had a total project mindset rather than, okay, let me show you the difference. What is a process approach? A process approach is what I'm doing right now in my life of, rather than saying, waiting until my house gets chaotic and then feeling I have to clean it all, I'm putting in place a simple process of, I put together a chore deck and I pull a card out every day. I'm going to work my way up to 3 cards right now. I just pull a card out every day, whatever's on my card, I do it. Once I've done that, I've done enough. No more coming in, sitting down on the couch going, oh, I have to clean the whole house, and I avoid it and then feel bad that I avoid it. No, I do my card, 2 or 3 cards, whatever it is I choose for that day. Once I've done that, I can say I've done what I needed to do. It's enough. That boundary then plops in place around that activity. No more stress around it. And I know tomorrow I'll have my 3 cards, and that will be a problem for me, or really not a problem, a opportunity, a blessing. If you got stuff to take care of, that's a blessing, right? The opportunity to take care of that blessing in my life, but it'll be kind of compartmentalized so it's not constantly haunting me as something I'm failing to get done. Same thing with finances and eating. Right now, yeah, I wanted to lose weight, and I went into the year wanting to lose some weight that I put on when my life was a mess. I've lost about 10 pounds. You know what I've done? I have created very small process steps of like, one thing I've done is I've started fixing 2 large healthy batch meals a week that I can alternate between and eat on throughout the week. And as a result, I have not bought a bite of fast food, which was something that I was out of convenience reflexing to. But rather instead, I now have a time during the week where I prepare 2 big meals. They're healthy, they're good. It's a whole lot less expensive. I'm doing a similar thing around finance. I'm putting in a process in place where my goal and my intention, yes, in the background, it is to eliminate any debt that I may have. But what my real goal and intention now is learning how to consistently live within my means. Otherwise, I should have understood this. Because probably about 13 years ago for Lent, I lived it out in a big way. I wanted to get rid of clutter and excess in my life at that time. And I adopted a process of, I'm going to get rid of 40 bags in 40 days. And every day I filled up a bag and then I stepped away. Guess what? I cleaned my garage, every closet, every room, every drawer, my cars, my office, all of it. If I'd set out saying, I'm going to do all that, project mindset, I would have flamed out and never got there, because I adopted a very simple, repeatable process. It just was inevitable that I'd have success on it. The mess not only would disappear, but it changed my relationship with how I handled physical things, so I didn't have ongoing mess. Last but not least, and this is a big one, no committed direction in your life. No committed direction in your life. Here's what I mean by that. I think the vast majority of folks wake up in the day and they know a whole bunch of smattering of little things that need to get done, and they might have a to-do list. If they're semi-organized, they'll have created a list of things. But those things are just stuff they're responding to with no direction behind why they're doing it. Let me give you a little test of this. If you were to write a list down of everything you need to get done today, I'd be curious if you got it all done. This is something I came up with years ago working for the 7-Minute Life, training people in time management. If you got your whole list done, what difference would it make in your life? Maybe a lot, maybe not a lot. It depends on whether you have a committed direction you want your life to go into and you're populating your list with those things. Now, what does that have to do with clutter and living cleanly? When we do not have a guiding principle or committed direction like goals, for me, it's goals. So you can kind of get this couple ways. For me, I have annual goals that every week I sit down and review, and I have some guiding principles. And what those goals and principles do for me is they become a filter to prevent clutter and excess from coming into my schedule, into my mind, into my life. Because here's what happens, and I'm going to share with you an illustration we use at 7-Minute Life. People go into the day, think about this as your day. We call this the, oh my gosh, it just went out of my head. I'm going to call it the crunch point, choke point. We go into the day and we have expectations for what we want to do. And then all these other things that we didn't plan on start coming in, and it becomes overwhelming. And there comes a point where it all can't happen and stuff starts falling out. It can't make it through to the bottom. Right? You can probably relate to that. I bet most people can. Well, having goals or committed direction gives you a checkpoint as these things try to shove in. It kind of acts as like a filter so that something stops them at the gate and keeps them from dogpiling your day. So you've got to, if you do nothing else, here's one thing I would ask you to do. This is something we teach people in the 7-Minute Life. When you sit down in the morning, ask yourself this very simple question. What is my goal for today? What's important for today? What is important for today? If you start doing that, you're going to get clarity of mindset. And clarity of mindset, a Saucha cleansing of your mind, is going to help you make better decisions that are in alignment with your priorities, your purpose, your goals, the things that matter most to you. So I'm going to leave it at this. Now in the next video, I want to share with you kind of a roadmap of how to move from mess to order. These are some specific kind of problems people run into and some tactics, but I want to kind of pull back a little bit and share what I've done over the last couple months that have made me clean up or helped me clean up a lot of messes in my life, helped me lose some weight, helped me shave off some stress that I was having, get a cleaner environment around me. I want to share with you the big picture overlay of that in the third video. If you've liked this video, share it with somebody. That would be awesome. Or, you know what, please comment below. Let me know what's helpful, or let me know questions you have before I do the next video so that I can make this series the best possible series for you. I know this has been lengthy, but I hope it has been valuable. Have a blessed week as you address the mess, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.